Hello again, and welcome to No Man's Sky. I was planning on trying to do a Let's Play of this, but upon getting the game a couple of days ago and playing it for a couple of hours, it's really the type of game you Let's Play. So, instead, I think I'm going to just kind of do a small little review. I think I haven't been to that. Yeah, I haven't been to that one yet. So, this is going to be a shorter video than normal, I hope. And I'm just gonna kind of talk about my opinions on the game and thoughts and the like. All in all, I like No Man's Sky. It's a single-player explorer. It's kind of like Skyrim without such an overbearing story. So instead of having to go to towns, you can always find a merchant if you go to a space station, like I was just at. Yeah, just making sure I sold everything, now that I think about it. But yeah, you can always find a merchant if you go to a space station. There are space stations all over the place. I've only been to like four systems, I think, or 3 or 4, and each one had a space station, so hasn't been too big a deal from there. And then you have these cargo ships. I'm not advanced enough in it yet to start actually like attacking, so I'm not going to really attack anything if I can avoid it. However, as I was saying, I'm enjoying the game. The game plays a lot, like I said, a lot like Skyrim meets Minecraft, where instead of like upgrading my gear, so instead of going from like wood to stone to different metals, I'm just going straight on to different planets. This seems to be a green planet. So, as you can see there, I am getting some pretty big frame drops while re-entering, but hopefully for the most part, most of this stuff should get fixed in driver updates over the next week or so. The game is procedurally generated, so there are tons of maps out there, tons of planets to go to. Oh yeah, this is a nice planet. Nope. So, when exploring planets, there's a few things you can do. You start off with this scanner, and where are these burning things? There they are. If I can get close enough. They're not wanting to stay still. It's a little hard to analyze flyers. However, you can point out a lot of different types of plants and analyze those as well. So like this tree.
Life support power low.
And as you analyze different trees or plants and animals, you can then go into your menu and it's like, oh, well, this planet, and you can rename things, so
Units received.
or you could just turn it in for money and you receive 500 units every time you turn one in, and 200 units every time you scan something new. And the units are the primary currency in the game. Come on. Maybe on top of this mountain if they don't fly away. You're close enough, I'm sure. As I said, scanning flyers is a little bit irritating. As soon as you get the hit on the lock, you're good. But they keep going and flying around, and it makes it a little irritating to try to get that hit. So, since I'm here, I landed next to a monolith. We can take a look at that. Probably best to get all the words around it. I hope that'll help me with whatever's in the monolith. Let's take a look at my gear. I'm not quite that far. I have the pre-order starship. I made the mistake to get it, to jump into it, because the whole finding out that it actually will fuck you if you get it early and it come out yet.
Technology recharge.
And I'm still using the same basic multi-tool.
Technology recharge.
As you can see. Go ahead and... So as you go through, you'll meet aliens and you'll find these... You'll find these like monoliths and whatnot. This one is a Viking, or however you want to pronounce this. The Viking are a very warlike and like honor-bound race, so I'm thinking I'm supposed to reach in, show bravery. I screwed up. Apparently I wasn't supposed to touch that. But as you saw, I didn't understand a lot of that language. So, if I had had more words, I actually quite possibly could have seen what that was saying, and it could have just been straight up, do this, or don't do this. Now that I think about it, it actually might have been an issue of ancients and honor, and you don't fuck with the, like, old people's honor. If I can redo this. No, won't let me. Sucks. My ship's here. Walking on. As you can see, you continue playing. As you continue playing, you can pick up resources from different things. Plants and animals will often have carbons. Some of them will have metals, like that plant has metal within it. And there's a variation of this and like a couple of these plants on like almost every planet. And you can actually scan them on basically every planet too, which makes a nice little resource for money. Here we have this little box thing. And I can even feed it, make it my friend. So, all in all, the game's actually pretty fun. It's great for exploration, and if you enjoyed exploring in, like, say, Minecraft or Skyrim, it's great. The elements of combat aren't very good. Ship combat's pretty satisfying for what little bit of ship combat I've done, but at the same time, that's a very late game thing to do. Like, you're probably not going to be getting into fights with the first ship, and even with the ship I have, those giant ships you saw in space, I can't fight those off. I've tried. I was barely able to damage one of them. Well, I mean, I got some pretty good damage in, but I wasn't able to hit it very fast. And by the time I was able to actually get to the point where I was doing decent damage, it called for backup, and the backup had shot me so hard. I ended up running away instead of dying, so. But outside of that, like a couple of ships that I've fought in space have basically just been well, you either shoot somebody shoots at you first, and then you shoot back, or you shoot at somebody first, and it's a 50-50 of whether they run away, call for distress, or if they turn around and just shoot you. I imagine if I had a more combat-focused ship, I'd be able to like blow people out of the sky and do a lot of cooler things, but I'm not quite there yet, and I accept that. That's an understandable thing at this stage of the game. Some bad things about the game are the game is actually pretty bad for, or one reason the game's really bad for Let's Playing is there's actually no way currently to reset progress. And it's like, it's understandable to an extent to try to have a concurrent experience.
Technology recharge.
So it's like, oh yeah, I'm going to continue playing this game like this. So I want to keep the same save. But without the ability to like reset your progress in any way, it does get kind of boring if you screw up. So for example, with my example, I chose the new ship to get the DLC ship. Because of that, like, I was on the get the hyperdrive mission. I got the new ship, and when I picked up the new ship, I was looking at everything. It's like, oh, it already has the hyperdrive, and I lost the quest to get the hyperdrive. So I had to do it off of memory. Like, I still had the thing pop up that was like, yeah, here, go here, do this. But, like, it was no longer a quest making me do that. So when I got there, I was able to get the ingredient or the blueprints for a hyperdrive. But if I hadn't, that could, like, I had one hyperdrive in the DLC ship for free. And if I'd made that before getting the blueprints for the hyperdrive, and then also getting the blueprints for the fuel. Wrong button. Like, I got the blueprints for the warp cell, which requires antimatter, which requires electronic vapor, which requires suspension fluid, which I still don't know how to build, but I can buy that in a space station. Actually, I can just straight up buy the antimatter in a space station too, but that's not quite as fun. So yeah, like, if I hadn't gotten the ingredient or the blueprints, I could have ended up in a situation where I was stuck, and without a way to reset, being stuck on a world or in a solar system without the ability to gain money, or like, that would be some of the most fucked up shit I can think of. And I actually went to effort to try to reset. I uninstalled the game, I deleted all the game's files, I deleted, I even actually system restored back to the previous day after having deleted the game to see if there was any, or if that would work. And yeah, nothing works. But all in all, if you don't make, if they add a way to reset the character, I would love to actually get a nice little let's play through. But until then, that's basically impossible, since even just getting used to the controls takes a good couple of minutes, and by that point you've already been off planet and possibly even grabbed your warp drive. If I was going to give this a score, I'd probably give this a 7 right now, and an 8 if they fix the like the graphics and bullshit. This game has a very bad case of designer PC, or designer rig syndrome, which is the game's optimized for the designer's PC, not for everybody else's. For as hyped as this game was, it's a little weird to see that. It's not completely unheard of to hear it though, so. But like the game was hyped huge, but that is a kind of common thing to see in indies. And like it or not, this is an indie game. So yeah. The main problem seems to be that with newer graphics cards, the 900 and 1000 series, the game just doesn't understand how those work. So SLI is just like is fucked. The 900 series and the 1000 series lag like crazy. However, even while recording, I'm getting. I mean, you might not be able to see it because recording is weird, but I'm personally getting over 40 frames per second constantly while recording. I really hope the recording shows that, but it probably won't because that's just how XSplit works, which sucks. The biggest dip I saw was when I jumped onto Planet, going through Atmosphere, and when it started rendering the planet as opposed to rendering the green blob that was going to become the planet. But that's not exactly that big a deal. I can deal with that. It's not ideal, but it's still dealable. Trying to think if there's anything else I should say. Yeah, this game would be an easy 8 or 9 if they get rid of the bugs and the frame issues and they add a reset button. If they just add a character wipe, character reset button, I would definitely say this is probably the best game to come out this year. Well, yeah, possibly the best game to come out this year. At least up there. Outside of that, this game's solid. It's about as, like, the story is kind of hinted at, but you kind of have to self-propel yourself towards the center. The space flight is great, but at least to where the point I am now, there's nothing there. Like, you'll see a couple of ships fly by from time to time, but there really isn't anything to do. And that's kind of the biggest problem with it, is that it is empty. Because the game, like Minecraft, is a sandbox. But when people hear like Minecraft, you're expecting like monsters and creepers. And it's like, yeah, I've gone on planets where the creatures will attack me, but I've never been in a situation where I've been killed outright. Or I've never been in a situation where I feared for my life in a fight. Like, there have been a couple of times I've had my shields broken, but never been worried, if that makes sense. With the scanner, you can identify things and gain money, like so. And as you start identifying things, you'll actually start gaining achievements. So, if you go into journeys, or journey, yeah, the journey journal, you can actually see here, like, yeah, I've walked almost 30,000 units, and I'll be getting that when I hit 30. I've met some aliens, I need to meet 2 more, learned words, made money. Yeah, I've yet to destroy an actual starship. I've shot a bunch of them. I've shot a couple of them into crash landing, but my weapons aren't advanced enough. Every time I get into a firefight, I either get hit so hard I need to get the fuck out of there, or I need to, or I end up getting into a fight where the person runs away faster than me. Yeah. For fighter, I've destroyed tons of sentinels. Those things are fun to fight. As you can see here, I've never been on an actual extreme planet. I've gotten 40 above, or 40 and negative 40, and that's about it. Extreme, like, we're talking like high temperatures and radiation and stuff. I just haven't found one yet. I've warped 2 times, so yeah, I'm on my 3rd system. And I haven't actually cared enough to actually find all the animals and stuff on a single planet. And as you can see, there's a little bit of a experience thing, so as you go up, you start leveling up. And yeah, as you can see here, there are tons of plants, and then you have these waypoints, which work as save points. And see if I can find one. I'm not actually going to walk to one. I think I actually might have walked past one earlier. Let's see. Oh. There's something over there. I think that might be... Huh. Well, there's normally a question mark. Yeah, right there. Right there. So there's a waypoint right there, and if I run, it will take me about a minute to get there. Oh, I've already discovered the slap tree. Stupid bush, don't slap me. Anyway. So, as I said, the game is good. I like it. It does have some major issues that need to be fixed. I can definitely understand why the game is so sparse. A lot of people are like, well, they spent years building this, why is everything so empty? Building an algorithm that's able to build planets that are so vastly diverse as these would take forever. Like, I've done a little bit of procedural coding, and it's like, but the procedural coding I've used is used templates. So it's very similar to like Binding of Isaac, where it's like, yeah, here's a bunch of map pieces, and put them together. Oh wait, no, yeah, that's a slap push again. So yeah, you take a handful of map tokens, and you, or like tiles, and you can lay them out into random maps. And that's the type of procedural generation I've done. Here we're talking about full-on build procedural generation. And like Minecraft uses tile sets. Well, Minecraft is just tiles. But like I've never seen anything this advanced that I can think of. I mean, there might be something out there, but I can't think of it. And yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and end this in a moment. I feel like I'm being chased by something.
Life support power low. Units received.
Yeah, it was just a baby alien. But as I was saying, a friend of mine me and a friend were talking about it, and he said that he would have loved to play No Man's Sky, but he's not going to get it because he doesn't think there's anything in it. I disagree with him about that. The comparison we were using was Elder Scrolls, because he wanted when I described the game, I described it like an Elder Scrolls game, but he was like, well, there's no quests or anything, so it would be because he enjoyed playing Elder Scrolls for the questing. And I'm like, well, there actually is, because when you look at it, like, outside of trying to get equipment and things like that, when you look at the journal, you are trying to get to all of these little milestones. So you're doing zoology, you're finding languages. So while you're not getting direct quests all the time to go to Planet X and exterminate all of the mud rats, you still make your own experience, and you make your own side quests. This game is kind of like Elder Scrolls with self-motivation. You motivate yourself into playing, and from there, no, still locked. There's supposedly, it looks like there's a way to unlock these things. I'm just not sure how to do that. But anyway, as I was saying, yeah, you just have to self-motivate yourself. So nobody's going to hand you a quest, but that doesn't mean that you making the quest versus somebody else making the quest makes it any less worthy. If you're playing Minecraft, there's no real reason for you to ever build a set of diamond armor. You can beat the game naked. I've done it before. Well, actually, I think I was wearing leather armor. But, you could beat the game naked, and there's nothing stopping you from doing that. It's when you build those quests, when you say, you know what, I think instead of... It's instead of building iron armor, I'm going to build myself a full set of plate mail. When you make that decision, that's when you start getting into fun with Minecraft. And I think that the same could be said about this. When you choose to have fun, when you choose to do small little side quests or side missions, or when you decide that you're going to become a traitor or a space pirate or a xenophobic, homicidal, genocidal animal killer, whatever you choose to do, that's how you have fun. And this is a great sandbox for that. Now, if only they could fix those small bugs, they fix the graphics issues, and add a reset button, everything will be great. Anyway, I kind of dragged on a little bit, so I'm going to go ahead and end this. My recommendation, if you enjoy playing games like Journey, Skyrim, Minecraft, for the exploration, not for the puzzles, not for the companionships you might find, but for the exploration. You enjoy finding new areas and finding new things, this game will be great for you. If not, this is still a pretty good game. Pick it up when it goes on sale. Go ahead and get that milestone while I'm here. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and end, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.